Why is it impossible for either one of us to start a show like a seasoned broadcasters, whatever the hell they call it?
Because I think we're meta.
That's right, we're meta.
Yeah.
But I never concentrate on how the beginning of the news is. Well, hello there. Is that what they say? Hello. Hey. Listen up.
They do. They go, hey.
Hey. It's the news. And now the news. No. So it's 6:15. What would those?
I watched Network the other day on Netflix.
Network is not the broadcast news. Network is the one where he can't stand it, and if it continues, he's going to do something very horrible.
Yes,
it's fantastic, right?
It is. Yeah, I mean it's super speechy, but it's still kind of.
Yeah. See, I got ahead of myself. How do I know it's fantastic?
No, it is. I mean, it's you're not going to go out on a limb saying Network is fantastic. It's a classic all-time movie, but
don't you think a lot of people? Now, here's the thing. As you know, I have a tendency to underwatch and overjudge.
Okay.
Underwatch and overjudge.
Yes.
So I think I've seen Network 4 or 5 times, but I don't. But you know what I mean. I don't know that I've seen. Well, here's my point. There are people.
You didn't retain Network,
right? I think there are people who think that Howard Beale. Am I wrong in thinking there are some people who think like the way he was not enraptured, but the way he was memed or the way the character was put into the culture, that he's a positive character, Howard Beale, because he can't take it anymore, where he's really going crazy.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
So, but don't you think a lot of people watching the movie also, could they not have gotten that? Or
I think a lot of people have just seen that scene, which comes about midway in the movie.
Yes.
And think Howard Beale is renegade, truth teller guy. But yes, in fact, he was a guy plunging into madness. Into madness, yes.
Because the thing is, the guy who did it was who?
Peter Finch.
And he was unbelievable. I want you to get that thing. I want you to get that thing. You goddamn monkeys. The goddamn monkeys in their TV.
Speaking of goddamn monkeys, I did this swing left benefit the other night in
the one I was out of town for.
Yes.
How'd it go?
It was really fun. It was good. And the reason it relates to Planet of the Apes is because it was hosted by Dana Gould as Dr. Zaius in full Dr. Zaius makeup and costume.
Wait a second. Explain to me who Dr. Zaius is. Is he the character that...
He was the orangutan, the blonde ape, if you will. The head ape, the head motherfucker in charge.
What does he sound like? I don't remember.
I mean, he sounded largely like Dana Gould. And, yeah.
He did Charles.
But he talked like this in the movie more. He was very.
Are they British? Are the monkeys British in the movie?
Roddy McDowall is, and.
But do they ever try to give them like a German accent or something of such type?
No, just sort of stormtrooper clothing.
Oh yeah. What's that?
Just stormtroopery clothing.
I thought you were. I couldn't think what you were saying. I think it's a stormtroopery clothing. And, so that must have been fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And there was a lot of, cool people.
Who else performed?
Gruber was the sort of co-host. He and Dana were alternating, and, Jim Turner and Mark Feit doing stuff. And, Lawrence Juber from Wings was, played solo acoustic thing. That was amazing. And,
where was it? Do I know?
At the Satellite.
Oh, the Satellite keeps coming back. What do you think? I like the environment of the Satellite. I know it's a weird room, but.
Yeah, I liked it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a room we could put.
Sold it out and,
that's good.
Raised about $35,000 for the.
What did you get paid?
About $32,000.
Josh, I was a joke. You're not supposed to reveal that. Papa's, look.
But Swing Left is cool because it's, their whole thing is like this benefit was to raise money for the candidate in North Carolina 9th.
Oh, who is that the same thing we're always fighting over? With Asif? Was he there last time?
Huh?
Asif? There was a guy named Asif. I'm mixing up different anecdotes.
Yeah.
But there was a guy who almost won a couple of years ago that they were backing somewhere.
Well, I mean, that's what their whole thing is. This was Dan McCready is the candidate, and he's running against the piece of shit who wrote like the bathroom bill. And,
his last name is Greedy?
McCready.
Oh, okay, that's better. And what's the chances of him winning?
But in fact, there was a McCready is greedy, nasty campaign. I don't know, but their whole thing is like, go to somewhere like Silver Lake where you have a bunch of enthusiasm and money, but don't necessarily need it because Silver Lake is already a totally blue place.
Oh, I thought we were trying to flip Silver Lake.
And then try to,
apply
that energy and money to the places that need it, like North Carolina 9. I think that's a cool approach.
I think we should be trying in every district. And I'm speaking as someone who talks a good game, but when it comes down to it, doesn't do a lot of cold calling because I sold door to door for a couple of years to make a living out of it. So now somehow that is, why should I try now to save the country? And I don't want to go door to door, but I should do some phoning. But I'm telling you,
I don't think you should do either. I don't think those are good jobs for you.
Hello?
There's probably some other, like envelope stuffing. That'd be good.
I don't want to stuff envelopes.
Something where it's not a retail situation for you.
Hi. Am I speaking to the person of the house? Who are you voting for?
The person of the house, right there. What the fuck
That's
is
right.
that?
I don't want to know
Who's
he, them.
Person of the
He,
house?
them, she. He, them, she. He, them, she. Okay, let's say you're a voter. Hi, I'm calling on behalf of Swing Left. By the way, which way does yours swing? Just a
That's
joke.
not funny. I have Peyronie's disease.
It's so weird that everyone who has Peyronie's disease seems to have some kind of a... Are you the guy on TV who didn't realize there were other catheters that you could use? That's the thing that most bothers me about that guy. For years, I was using a painful stabby catheter. It was rusty.
A cactus catheter.
Cactus catheter. That my friend Elmo gave me. Elmo.
Why would that be a catheter outlet?
But my second favorite part of that commercial is when he shows you, as if that's going to help you buy the catheter. He shows you one of his long.
Yeah.
First of all, I thought a catheter.
Because he's out doing trick flying all day.
There will never be TV, movies, or entertainment as great as some of these commercials. I know it's like a hack thing to say, but the ones that don't know they're horrible and they continue on, it's just like consumer cellular things. Are the buttons big enough on the phone? Will someone come and press the numbers for me? Is there extra volume?
Oh, before I forget, do you know a good plumber?
I don't know, but I'll check into it.
Great. And could you get 3 estimates?
I love that part. And that's the part. When you first ask about the plumber, the guy's, yeah, I know. And but then he goes too far with the information. And it's one of those things you could watch it a million times. You know it's coming, but you still.
You didn't know it was coming that time.
No, because I didn't think you would sink that low. I thought you actually needed a plumber. But
I know, because I'm an actor.
You're an actor. We're leads in the film.
We saw a cut of the film this week, and while we won't get into it, I think you'll be happy, people.
I don't know.
You know why? Because we're in it.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be. I think what we're going to do is eventually we're going to offer it as a Patreon bonus.
Right.
It'll be the first movie released on Patreon. Also, I heard you signed a deal with Vimeo. Is that true?
I did. To get Patreon.
And many more. Use that as a tag. Use that as a bounce out. Use it as a sting. A sting.
I'll use that as a bounce out.
How about a sting?
No, I prefer bounce out. So you're back from Bloomington, Indiana.
I really had a great time over there.
Did you?
I did. I don't know why I can't do it.
You're not a cutter. I'm a cutter.
I know. I didn't see that movie again. I didn't see it. And I didn't even remember. Is it in Bloomington, Indiana?
Yes, we covered this last week.
How do you know it's Bloomington, Indiana?
Because they make a huge fucking deal about it.
They go to Indiana University?
Yes.
And this is the same movie where they lose?
the townies of Bloomington, Indiana.
Where they were underdogs in the basketball tournament?
No.
This is the same movie?
No.
This has Daniel Stern in it, though, right?
Yes, it does.
And the guy who wants to be Italian, I love that guy.
Yeah.
And everybody was great in it. No, that didn't happen. But I had a great time there.
But you did go quarry diving, so.
What does that mean?
It doesn't.
Why do you bring up, I don't have a memory.
I do.
Why don't you bring up stuff about my Aunt Bertha, see what I remember about her? Oh God, shut up, both of us. Okay, so I went there. The only thing was I almost had an anecdote about going there because the plane, I took a 12:30 a.m. flight from LAX.
Okay.
Because it's very hard to get to Indianapolis.
AKA a red eye.
Beep, beep, beep. I don't know if there's a chance of getting a direct flight. I think there might be one, but I always start too late to look for them.
Yeah.
So I took a red eye and I got into Dallas Fort Worth at 6 o'clock, and then the flight to Indianapolis was supposed to be 7:50. That flight, I thought we got up in the air and we're flying, and we turns around and goes, we got to go back.
Yeah.
And when you have to go back, it's never a good reason. It's never good.
Right.
So it was some kind of you could smell the hydraulics. So something happened where you could smell hydraulic smells. So then we thought it was all.
You overheard someone else saying that's hydraulics, isn't it?
No, it could have been it could have been the pilot even giving up too much information.
Right, okay.
I don't know if you people smelled that hydraulics. It was like Dennis Miller too.
Okay. Wow. I'm glad they turned back then.
And you know what happens? People get very, very, they don't like it when this happens. I don't like it either.
Right.
But I'm a little bit more mature than I was years ago where I go, and there's people like, God damn it. They get immediately mad. They start running out the terminal and they start to try and get another flight. Well, I didn't do that. I was just ambled out. Right. And it turned out that they would say, we're going to try and get another plane for you, which usually means they don't get a plane. I don't know what it means, but they got another plane.
No, it usually means they get another plane. It just takes a long time.
Yeah, so I was delayed by 2 more hours, but it could have been, if I had to look around for another flight, it might have been hard to get to Bloomington by that night. I'm just saying the road is not as great as people.
But where were you, in Chicago?
No, I was in Indianapolis. No, I was in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Okay, yeah.
And on the way back.
you couldn't drive.
That I couldn't drive. And on the other way, I connected through Detroit. Uninterestingly enough.
Yeah.
So I had the greatest time at the shows. It was a really great, I had fun every show. He runs a great club. And then on Saturday, Lucinda Williams was playing a block away from me.
Oh, wow.
On this Indiana theater. And so I literally did my first show, walked over, saw some of her show from the wings, went back, did my second show, I'm just name dropping because you got to do it.
Lucinda Williams is a good name to drop, though. I didn't know you were friends with Lucinda Williams.
Susan's been friends with her because Susan is friends with Rosie Flores for years, and Rosie Flores is music, and that's how Susan met Lucinda, and Lucinda loved Susan, and then two of the members of the band, not Lucinda, but two of the members of the band came to see the second show.
Oh, cool.
And they enjoyed that. And then I went to the tour bus, and Lucinda was there, but then she went to sleep, and then they were going to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to Lexington. And I was like, this is the life I'm glad I'm not living. Yeah. But this is the life I originally had wanted. I wanted to be I never thought about being a touring musician. I thought about being like the Beatles because that was the first images I saw.
Sure.
With the Beatles and they're running and the ladies are chasing them.
Right. The shows are good.
The shows
well attended.
The shows, both Saturday night shows were sold out.
That's good.
That's good. Now it's a popular club and it's a Saturday night. I don't have to soft sell it.
You sold out is what we can say.
But I am a loss leader because he puts me in the summer.
Right.
So the school's out for the summer, but it's such a great, it's my dream city. It's my dream gig type of thing because the hotel is like 3 blocks from the club, and then near the club there's like 3 or 4 restaurants, and it's got I can pretend that I'm collegiate for a couple I really wish there's a part of me that had wished that I could have stayed in college forever because I didn't really do much.
I always had weirdly magical shows in Bloomington when I was it was always a one-nighter at Bear's Place there, but it was
what was it called?
Bear's Place.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's a Sobel gig.
Oh, I see. Do you know where it was? Near the campus somewhere?
Yeah. For some reason, I had good chemistry in that town.
It's a great city because it's a very progressive city. And you go in there and you start to think, it's like, I just can't believe that there can be that much of a difference. I mean, I know there's that much of a difference between the college town and the areas around it. But when you think of this Mike Pence, who in many ways to me seems as dangerous as Trump, I just can't understand where did these Dan Quayle, Mike Pence, horrible, where did these states, why did they go so badly? Were they Confederates? Indiana? No. I can see the South.
But the South and, they're part of what's called the old Midwest, and that's pretty South-like. And it's,
yeah.
I mean, Southern Indiana for sure is the South.
I didn't even think about
Southern Illinois is the South.
Someone had a shirt, and the shirt was, I didn't see it. Someone told me about the shirt. It shows the Confederate flag and the American flag, yeah. And it's 1-0 with the one under the American flag.
Yeah.
And nothing. Like it's 1-0 so far in the wars.
I
know, but I don't paint a nice picture. So that was all good. I earned some money.
Nice.
And, I'm back, and now I have to buckle down and do the things that I, will be in prison for. I don't care how long your father, I always go back to your father as an inspiration.
Yeah.
But I think at one time your father did know that he had to eventually do it, and he probably knew the dates and everything.
I think he usually hit the October 15th mark.
Oh, you never told me that. I'd be more panicked. I have not done my 2017 taxes, but they owe me money.
2017 you're still in? I thought you did 2017.
Don't you know? I just said 2017. If I had meant 2018, I would have clearly said 2018. So you saying, oh, you haven't done those? That's just you digging in.
It didn't help. That's what you're saying. All right. That's good.
Oh, you know what? What was the year?
I'm learning along the way. All right, good.
What was the year on that? 2017. But they owe me money. But they owe me money only sounds good for a while, because they may say, we're not going to give you your money now, you stupid idiot.
Right. They owe you money, and yet you're the one who's scared. So
that's it. And that's why I'll never be able to. That's why I would pose as a Nazi if the Jews were in trouble again. I'm not a Jew. Get those Jews.
I'm not a Jew. They want that away. A finger for them.
A finger for this, a finger for that. Mr. And then the Mr. He gave it the boom, boom, boom.
They're dirty and they're like rats. Hubba hubba.
Who are those? The Christian and the thing. The boom, 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 boom.
Jesus Christ, my savior.
Henry Kissinger, you don't understand what he's saying. He keeps talking, but nobody can understand. He does actually joke about how you can't understand what Kissinger is saying. You can't understand what Jackie Mason is saying. He's man. Actually, he does talk better than Henry Kissinger. But Henry Kissinger is a little bit funnier.
He is much funnier.
He is much funnier.
Nobody does a genocide chunk like me.
Oh, I told you to go last Sunday. Oh, you know who? I told you, Johnny, we can do a shout out to Johnny Torito, though, right? Even though we're not going to talk about.
Sure.
He was on fire.
Johnny Torito made.
And the guy who played the treasurer was great. And there are other people who's running for treasurer.
Yeah.
It was more later. We signed a thing, a non-disclosure. I wish someone would offer me a non-disclosure agreement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will not talk if the price is right. I don't know what the subject is, but I will not talk if the price is right. Look, I am kind of doing bits tonight, but they're really planned out well. Because Andy, my real personality, he's taking a nap.
Nice.
He could not make it, sir. So how was your week? We did the benefit.
My week was good. I did the benefit. Allison was gone until Saturday, so it was quiet. And
she was gone for a while too, right?
Yeah, she was gone about 10 days.
Wow.
So the dogs are happy again now that she's back.
Oh.
Because they definitely get to like, really? You got us in the divorce?
If your dogs are really saying that, I really think there's money in the dog talking thing. Because usually he's like, how wow. I think I was doing a Japanese dog.
Really? You wanted to complicate it by being racist as well as lame?
Look, if I'm going down on Twitter, I want to hit all the buttons.
You were going down on Twitter the last couple of days. What the fuck, man? There was a flare-up.
I was hoping you wouldn't bring it up.
I wasn't really following it, but
it doesn't. It's, you know what?
But there was a big flare-up. It seems like.
It was. I did get mad again. I did get mad again at the people who I really dislike tremendously, and they hopped in on a thing where I said, if theories were so great, why do they call them theories? And when I hit send on it, I went, I bet someone's I hope they're not gonna start to think I'm a creationist, but just first of all, I tweeted, I'm not even that crazy about it, right? I'm not saying it's the greatest thing. And as we know, when we look back on Twitter, 98% of it is garbage 4 months later. So
no.
99.
No. Am I? No, I'm a little more.
Well, yes, because well, okay, I get it. Well, you can run, Well, your jokes stand up more than just, but so these people come in. Well, the reason why they're called theory, they start explaining why they're called theories and all this. And so I start getting more increasingly upset.
Disclaimer tweet about that tweet.
Yeah, I do a disclaimer tweet about that tweet. But the disclaimer tweet was more like, shut the fuck up. I hate your guts, all of you. So that's where it started to go more and more and more. Right. And I really can't stand these, I go in the show, The Majority Report. And I love the majority.
Firing at A. Whitney Brown back and forth.
No, but he and I great. I get along with really great. So I actually, I felt bad about. He was so sweet. He's like,
whoa, cool your jets.
He's like a gentleman. He's an actual gentleman. Yes. Because I was starting to get my feelings hurt, I thought he was saying, and he was like, this guy's an actual genius. I mean, this guy.
I know. When I saw you firing at him, I'm like, oh. And then he was like, oh, hey, I'm with you.
I'm so glad that he was nice to me.
Oh.
I'm so glad he was nice to me because it was definitely me going, sir, although I
How dare you misrepresent what I said? My mother has Parkinson's, sir.
Oh, God. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I think I have do you
think it's the time alone?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the time alone. Yes, because it's not just the time alone. It's not, I could easily say I'm bored, but It's more like.
You don't have someone to off gas to either. You don't have just that normal sort of frustration to sort of float out into somebody you know.
It's always mixed up because it's always a mixture of things because I get upset all day long by like Trump and all these things. So sometimes you can say something and it gets it off your chest.
Right.
And sometimes you can say something and it engages you. And once you engage, it's like a poison. You know, I know it. It's like such a weird thing. So hopefully I'll learn more and more. It's the only thing. There's no other lesson to learn than to stop.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm not.
Well, but these people though, this guy, dissident peasant, these people who are fans of the show that I love going on, it's Majority Report. A lot of them are Bernie bros and social Marxists, Leninists. And so the guy's going,
I saw this. And I say this as a loyal Thought Spiral listener.
Oh no, that guy I did enjoy because he was so terrible. That was like when they say things that are so terrible you can't believe it. Sometimes it does bypass your hurt. Because they're like, maybe less time smoking. He said less time smoking pot. More time being mindful.
Yeah.
Your humble servant. From your humble servant. You think when people ever use that from your humble servant or they're always hiding a schmadoopy with it?
I don't know, but Michael DeBar uses your humble servant as his radio handle.
Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah. No, you were humble. Well, I'm not saying it can't be done right. All right, so that happened. And then, what was the reaction to our change? Did we triple our audience?
I don't know that we had a massive audience increase, but we definitely had,
people enjoy it.
From what I've seen, very positive.
That's
I haven't
good.
seen any negative about us, that show.
Because I was thinking about how people, they want to.
It was certainly more fun to edit.
Yeah, I could see that. But you said there was also, from the other thing that we recorded, some good old-fashioned whining from me. Or you got my usual personality.
Plenty of normal show flavor mixed in with the actual interesting show that we added.
Well, Perush seemed to enjoy it, so that was right
good.
up the bat.
He's a good litmus test. He would have let us know if he had a problem.
Yeah, and then
so I think I felt good about it. I'm sure we'll do it again. We aren't making any policies about it.
No, there's no policies about it. But here's the thing. I think the way it developed developed in an organic way.
Yeah.
And what I don't want to do is bring some schmuck like Joel Madison. Bring some some guy from the Catskills, grabbing both mics. No, but it happened in an organic way.
No, for me, the criteria is going to be, is it someone who I actually am curious to ask questions? And
he just is somebody who, when he wanted to come on, there's no question. This is perfect.
Yeah.
So I do expect, here's some of my wants now.
Okay.
Hoda, who's the last name? Hoda.
Hoda Kolb.
Hoda Kolb.
Yeah.
No, but I also still am glowing from the conversation. So I enjoyed the conversation too. But I know what you mean. Like, now we're back to the show. It's people like, how are they going to top it? That's the thing. How do we top? This is the kind of footage you can't get anywhere else. Interviews.
Right. Yeah. Podcast interviews. That's like a whole frontier.
Ooh. I can't think of anything now has anything else that anything exciting? Anything? That's not a good way to have a conversation.
No, it's really not.
No.
It's pressureful and...
What do you have to say? What happened in your life? Tell me. Well, we can never talk about current events because it gets worse on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's been particularly bad. I don't even remember what happened. Something always happens in the early morning that Trump says.
Well, Epstein killed himself this week.
Oh, that's right.
That was the big...
Right. Okay. I want to say one thing about the Epstein killing himself.
Okay.
A lot of times they say, now that Epstein's killed himself, people are going to believe, like on the regular, not the Fox News, but on the regular channels, like MSNBC, whatever, they go, now people are going to start buying into these conspiracy theories because they're putting out fake things like Clinton killed him and all that kind of stuff. But then they're still kind of not saying that we don't know what the fuck happened there. And the conventional story, our minds are used to soaking in the conventional story and wrapping our heads around it because it does seem like, okay, they're just fuck ups over there and they let them go or whatever. Nobody cares. But I don't know that. And but to say there's conspiracy theories flying around doesn't mean we know more. Doesn't mean something weird couldn't have happened here. I don't know. But I just don't buy that the way it gets settled very quickly. Okay, well, they fucked up and they didn't watch him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get the sense that that's what's happened.
No. What do you think has happened? I don't know what's happened. Nothing's happened yet.
I think that every jackass on the entire ideological spectrum came up with their own conspiracy theory for it immediately.
Right, that's
like
the thing.
within 30 seconds. You know, and jackasses, like I said, across the spectrum.
Yeah, like,
you know, from Clinton killed him to Trump killed him. You know?
Right.
And they were instantaneous and knee jerk and filled with fucking certainty because it's Twitter.
Right. And that's the thing is it's hard to get to the truth. That's why I go to Newsmax because Newsmax, they advertise for Newsmax on CNN. I don't understand. I guess you have to take someone's, if you could boycott somebody eventually.
Yeah, no, they reject some ads.
But they don't want to reject these ads because they're going to be accused of, they want the money and they're going to be accused of the liberal media. But they're advertising false things. Newsmax with all your favorites, Alan Dershowitz. If you want your news, this is the right way.
Right.
Get it through this.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that's going on. The Mets are doing good.
Yeah. The Twins are stumbling.
Were they in first place or are they still in first place?
They are no longer in first place. They've slipped behind the Cleveland Indians in the Central.
And the Mets are doing better.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. That was sports.
Now
on the weather.
You know what
it's
that was?
Hot here in the valley this week.
That was sports
We're going to be
corner.
hitting triple digits here in the San Fernando Valley this week. Keep it chilly.
Hey.
And don't do your laundry around 4 o'clock.
Also, don't forget, if you like what you're listening to, don't forget to get the Thought Spiral outtakes. It's all the stuff that Josh did not put in. He took out the shows and it's not edited down. It's just thrown into a bucket and then it's, put it on shuffle, baby.
It's a word sluice.
Are you preserving them like Johnny Carson preserved his tapes in an underground vault?
Yes. Big, huge. I have a salt mine below the house.
Whenever I do comedy bits, I seem to get into a situation where there's only a yes or no that you can supply. Are you putting them in the vault? Yes, I am, Andy. And it's quite a vault.
Yes.
Oh, I think I saw some TV I liked. I saw on Hulu, 80 Bryant Show.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. What's the name of it? Shrill.
Right.
It's really great. It's really great. And there's great people in it. And it's just about her, like a dating life type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't have Hulu though, but I saw it on the plane. That's when I catch up on
yeah, I don't have a Hulu myself.
And so I love that. I also heard Fleabag is good. I don't know if we've talked about Fleabag or.
No, again, I hear it's good. But that's not a criteria for me watching things anymore.
No, but one of the guys in the building who's is writing a book about in my condo building. He's writing a book about the great movies of 1962.
Yeah.
And I was able to guess one of them, which was Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
But I guess that was a seminal year, he said. 62.
Everyone who's writing a book picks a seminal year. 1967.
You know what
book about that.
You know what CNN should do? Why don't they do like a tribute to
List of movies.
It's the movies.
Movies in no particular order, randomly conjured and clipped.
Do you like movies? Do you like the movies?
How about this movie? Remember this movie? How about this movie? And of course, there was this movie.
I love the way, and they, of course, when they tease them every week, they just sound like interchangeable. This Sunday night, tune in for, I don't even know how they theme them. Scary movies.
It was 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It was so far. Now I think next week is the golden age.
The golden age. Movies about magic. Movies that have gefilte fish in it. Movies about sailing.
See, but you are giving them way too many more categories than the actual show does.
But I'm just doing my nonsense Groucho style categories. How about they say this? CNN, we're down on the weekends. We don't have current news, but we have footage of various things, like a minute, like 10 seconds of everything that's happened in the entire history of the world since there's been a camera. It's the roaring 20s, friend. Someone's got to write them.
Yeah.
Don't give me that look like I'm obnoxious. I know I'm obnoxious.
I'm not giving you that look. You're reflecting that look off my glasses.
Well, you see through my soul with your penetrating seeing. I'm not high. That's the thing that's odd about it.
Yeah.
But you doubt that I'm high. You think I am high. Well,
No, I don't.
Maybe if I spent a little less time smoking pot.
You know the difference? Is you're completing annoying sentences as opposed to trailing off.
I'm not forgetting the bad idea I'm having.
No, you're there.
Oh, I got to tell them about this. No,
Please.
you don't. But at least you remembered. Are we in the dog days of summer? It's hot. Today was hot.
Today was hot, and it's getting hotter, my friend.
You know, the tour manager who got me backstage to see Lucinda.
Yeah.
And we were hanging around with the two other musicians, and he was saying like he saw this special, or something. He said, some climatologists say the Earth could be no life on the Earth in like 400 years. And like all the other three of us were like, that seemed like we already thought that'd be too long anyway. To me, it's like, I'm thinking, if we could last 400 years, I'd go crazy. If I knew. That sounds like a long time.
Yeah, you think?
Not really. I understand what they're saying. I don't understand what anyone is saying. You know how they say that people always thought, do you think people always thought that the world was going to end or something horrible was going to happen? That's got to be part of the human nervous system, right? No one said like, well, in the 1500s, they didn't say, well, if we all die, at least the Earth will stay. They didn't care about that. They cared about their own life.
Right. It wasn't an ecological concern.
Exactly. But so we really are. And also they could have, look what happened with the dinosaurs. They're walking around, happy as they please. Boom. Asteroid.
No.
What?
No. Satan put those fossils there to confuse us.
You know, I was thinking about that, the Satan's fossils, because there's not just one ancient alien show. There's about 45,000 of them. How many? I mean, I can't even believe we can still walk around. Where's the debris from all of these trillions of ancient aliens and their ships?
We've only discovered 10% of civilization so far, Andy.
Who'd you get that from?
From the commercial for Ancient Aliens.
I never watched an episode of that. I
haven't either.
I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear about something magical now.
No, I hate it that it's on the History Channel. What bothers me.
That is a nice kick in the teeth.
It really is.
Well, they had Larry the Cable Guy in the History Channel, I think.
Yeah.
Or some one of those.
Doing the history of Larry the Cable Guy.
No, he's like, hey, we're going around the country, and we're going around the country Larry the Cable Guy style. What are you doing? I'm barbecuing, get her done. Next week, Larry the Cable Guy goes to a drugstore.
Okay.
In McGowan, Texas.
Okay.
To find out how drugstores operate in McGowan, Texas. So what? Here's a little piece of it. How's it going?
Good.
What do you sell here?
Drugs.
Like a drugstore, right?
Right.
I could get some heroin?
No.
Get her done then.
You sure are Larry the Cable Guy.
Next week, I don't know the name of the show. Next week on Larry the Cable Guy Goes South or something. I don't even watch
Speaking of going south, people.
You know what I'm talking about? Literally. Anyway, 65 degrees downtown Los Angeles. This week, the boys are back in town. Who did that song? The Boys are...
The Bus Boys.
The Bus Boys. Okay, they're not coming back in town.
I just watched Another 48 Hours.
I watch that show all the time.
No, the movie, Another 48 Hours. The sequel to 48 Hours.
What was I calling Another 48 Hours?
The show, 48 Hours, probably?
So is the second one horrible?
Yes.
And is Eddie Murray in there? Eddie Murphy in there?
Yes, he is.
Is it soon after the first one?
No, it's weirdly like 7 or 8 years after, I think.
And it's just...
really bad. Like real bad. I forgot how bad.
I don't really know. I remember loving Trading Places.
Like it might have been like it might have been Eddie Murphy's first truly shit movie.
Yeah. He did a lot of them after that.
He did.
I like
Although I just saw the trailer for the Dolomite Story today. How's
that look?
It looks pretty good, actually. Rudy Ray Moore story.
Yes. I know the story only because Bob Odenkirk used to talk about it. I've never actually listened to... It's movies that were made, right?
Rudy Ray Moore was the comedian who did the character Dolomite, who made these...
Oh, I didn't even know he was a comedian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he knew he was having fun with it when he was doing it.
I think so. It appears, at least from the trailer for the movie, that there was a sort of double level of self-awareness, but also clueless, how he came off nonetheless.
Oh, that's good. That's really, really good. I enjoy those kind of things.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'm going to check it out.
Check it out. Coming up to a theater near you on Netflix.
And I feel pretty good.
Yeah. Did you get your teeth installed?
My teeth, which I realize now, Josh.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing my thing now. I have a little thing, like a mouth thing that goes inside. And because he said, you do want to wear it during the day because it's good for eating. But you know what it's not so good for?
Talking.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I remember, I think I was here a few weeks ago saying, and then, why did I just tell myself, you're not going to perform with this? There's no reason to perform with it.
Hi, Andy. How are you? It's good to see you. You feeling good?
Are you doing Charlie Brown meets me on dentures?
Yes.
Not dentures, folks, please. I only have a partial plate. Come on, folks. Everything's okay.
Just stay away from caraway seeds.
Stay away from like sticky stuff.
Speaking of caraway seeds, remind me to send you home with some smoked salmon.
So you made the smoked salmon, you were happy with how it came out?
It's a good batch, yeah.
Now you didn't make the smoked salmon. Let me ask you a question about it.
Okay.
Is it spicy? Ow!
Well, it's just regular smoked salmon.
Yeah, but normally smoked salmon doesn't really have a bite to it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have no.
So
bite.
I won't come home and go.
It won't think it's spicy. It's Jew friendly.
And can I have it with the etouffee?
You can have it with the etouffee.
But now that does have a certain amount.
That has a little bit of a hole.
Now, is it hard to? I mean, okay. Can you tell me how you made it, or?
I think I have before on this very podcast, but I cured it overnight.
Okay. What was it suffering from? Come on. Have you ever heard that joke before?
Suffering from a lack of humor.
Okay, so you cured it.
Cured it overnight. And then, yeah, I know I went over this.
Oh, okay. But it turned out good?
It turned out good, yes.
Is it something that you want to maybe open up? It's Josh Elvis. Hi, I'm Josh Elvis. Have you tried my smoked salmon? It's unbelievable. I put it in this thing for 14 hours. Oh, God. I don't know.
Regular flavor or grape?
And if you have to ask, is it spicy? And jalapeno salmon. And ask about my special jalapeno.
Guaranteed to keep Andy Kindler away.
Who is putting hot sauce on anything? Don't tell me. Are you?
Tonight, fried chicken had some with sriracha.
Sriracha. Have you heard Jeff Foxworthy say sriracha sauce?
Now I have.
But you put jalapeno stuff on things. It's just ridiculous to me. It's probably bad for you. And that's all I'll say about it.
I'm not a big jalapeno fan. But that's not because of the spice. It's because of the flavor of jalapeno.
Isn't that one of the puppets of Dunham? Is jalapeno pena?
Yeah.
have the look on
the
your...
doctor told me, I went to the doctor and I thought I had a peanut allergy, and he told me, no, you hate the entire Jeff Dunham.
Hey, that's a great joke. You have to use that joke now.
Okay. Or I can give it to you next year.
But I think you should. But, I finally did a version of the joke that we came up with last week. And I'll tell you the version because my hand falls asleep on stage.
Yeah.
Like every time I'm on stage, the hand that's holding the mic.
Really?
It gets numb. So I said, my hand's numb. I went to the doctor. I said, every time I go on stage, my hand gets tired. And he goes, don't go on stage. First I said, don't do that, but that doesn't work.
Right.
And it doesn't even work I
don't know that people know that reference, but it makes me laugh.
I still have to tell the joke afterwards, the original joke.
Yeah.
That's a typical Andy. An Andy Kindler joke's the punchline's always first.
Your mic hand falls asleep on stage because that's what you're saying you're acting to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I come up with that? That's another joke to put me down.
There you go.
I usually just say it. I don't know if it's a good sign, but my hand that's holding the mic is falling asleep.
Right.
So, but you could see how but you're making it very specific.
Yes.
The reason why is because you're doing your acting to it.
Yes.
Come on, you can remember these classic jokes from my act?
I know, maybe I'll record them.
Boing, boing, bang, bang, boing, boing, bang, bang.
Wow.
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 Wow is right.
Wow is not right.
I'm going to my therapy tomorrow. It's been a long time since I've been in therapy. I was last Thursday, but I've only been in one. I had bad anxiety. I had anxiety in Bloomington. Yes, I had anxiety, like a 4-hour struggle with anxiety, but it's not like major.
Was that in a hotel room? Was that out on the town?
Okay, so what it was, I woke up at I did the Bob and Tom show. I came back and I slept, and I got up at 5. And I think because I didn't get any sleep, that I got up and it was a little bit like
the Bob and Tom show was 8 a.m., right?
Yes.
And then you come back at 10 and then slept till 5?
Well, I came back. He did a podcast afterwards, so I came back. It's an hour from Bloomington, so I came back. Maybe I got back at 1 or 12 or 1. I slept from 1 to 5.
Okay.
And then I'm I know I've eaten once, but now I have to eat again. And for some reason, it starts to come across as anxiety. And also, then I don't want to eat, and then I get more anxious. And then I start thinking, oh, what if I can't do the show? And then it just went away once I finally put food into me.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous in a way. Because I feel like there's a part of me that says, you are making yourself anxious. You're doing it.
Right.
And that doesn't help me necessarily. But it is like I haven't eaten enough, or it is physically what's going on. But the worst case scenario thing is still the thing I'm still struggling with. Is it really the worst case scenario that I'm going to miss a show? Is that going to be as bad as when I myself die? You know what I mean? It's what? I don't think most people live with that big a fear. Everything, it's almost like, and everything rides on this show tonight. If I don't go.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but I guess I don't know if that's the question, though. I mean, the question is more why would it possibly lead to that? Because
I'm having it's I'm actually having a digestion problem I'm my stomach's a little irritated or whatever the thing is.
Right.
I'm starting to get hungry, but I don't want to eat anything, and I want to just stay in a paralyzed. Once I got out of the hotel and started walking, it literally started to go away.
Right.
And then a little bit. And then it was really so my image is that I'm going to get food poisoning. That's probably what I'm thinking about. Okay. Food poisoning, heart attack, stroke. But the thing that's so stupid about it is that if it wasn't for the show, I wouldn't be having this. I realize now that the times I've had panic attacks, a few times of them has been when a show is a few hours away, or when the speech is the next day, or.
Right.
So I would like to get to a point in life where I could resolve that it's not that important for you to be destroying yourself. I'm not destroying myself because it went away, but still.
No, but I mean, it seems like, and this is me talking out of my ass, I guess, but it seems like if you could find a way to be mindful in those times and go, what does the early stage of this feel like, and start doing the thought stopping then,
right,
instead of the literal spiral,
Yes.
And probably there is a hunger thing is probably some of it.
The hunger thing is, because
maybe that means you need to bring peanut butter crackers on the road with you or some shit.
Right.
That you can go, even if I'm not going to eat, at least you get that little blood sugar thing going to take the edge off. Because like for me, like my biggest anxiety and anger spirals are often like, oh, you're hungry.
Yes. I mean, it's with me, if I don't eat enough, it really, I freak out. And then I'm thinking also, I have to eat between now and the show, but I don't want to eat, it's like.
Right. So you need to find some sort of innocuous calories.
Yes.
That aren't ever gonna, even if it's soda crackers or some shit, to just go to be able to tell yourself, well, I ate. You're fine,
Yes.
It's like the same thing. Like with me, it's like it used to be with like nicotine patch or whatever, where it's like, no, you're having a craving, but you have your nicotine,
Right.
So,
Yeah. Exactly.
But I think there probably are, once, I'm just saying, now that you see this pattern of it happens in that pre-show time, it's like, what can you do to mitigate some of that, because often it is food related with you,
I think it was exactly what in fact, when I woke up, I even had, I had a couple of power bars or whatever, but because I don't like them that much,
right,
everything seems like, oh, I don't want, it's like my son goes, no, you need to wait 25 minutes to find the exact perfect restaurant. But meanwhile, it's just the whole thing is so ridiculous.
Right. That's why I think
just put something in me.
Yeah.
And so I think that the thing is that's amazing is like, I went through so much of my life having all kinds of anxiety, but not knowing anything, not even knowing it was anxiety or not knowing what was causing it.
Right.
So now I feel like it's sad to, I mean, it could be sad in a way, but my therapist always says that's stupid to start thinking why didn't I think of this earlier? But no matter when you get the idea that, you can slow things down and react to things, you can have fears, but still react more rationally or take care of yourself in the moment.
Right.
In any way that you can. Because the truth is, 90% of it is, what if this feeling gets worse?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And so also all these years I've worried about what if the right moment that I'm going to go on stage, I can have a heart attack. It's like none of this worrying is going to do anything to help when that happens. It's like none of that. It's a part of me. I just realized this. A part of me is very much invested in that the worrying helps.
Right.
And that it's exactly necessary.
Right. Like at least I worried. So now I'm prepared for when I have a stroke before I go on stage. Cause
I'm almost as scared as someone in my family saying, why didn't you go to the emergency room when you died earlier?
Right.
I'm almost as scared of that as dying. It's like, someone's going to yell at you. You're going to be looked at in a weird way. It's so weird that it would be that emotional.
Right.
Because you could say, oh no, you're just, you're having this feeling in your stomach and, everybody freaks out. No, well, they don't all freak out and it's not all in my mind and it's not all in my body but this idea of just slowing down, I think really, and becoming aware of it. Cause I think so long I just would say, just don't think about getting food poisoning.
Right.
Or just run into that club or I am amazed that I had so much anxiety that I was able to do some things at all.
Right. Well, I mean, that's, I think what everyone has discovered in the past decade or so is that the sort of baseline anxiety level is much higher than we all knew about each other.
I was wondering, is that me? Because now that I've had all this anxiety and I speak to people, if some people don't like to talk about things, but some people, they like that they can open up.
Right.
And I spoke to a couple of comics that suffer, like this one comic suffered from a 3-month bout of anxiety where he couldn't, it's like, I think a lot of people, it's something that they don't talk about.
Right.
That much.
Yeah. Because it's this totally unreasonable part of oneself.
Yes.
It's the most unreasonable part of oneself. It's the part that's screaming at you that horrible things are going to happen and telling you lies,
Yeah.
So no one wants to reveal that part of themselves that much.
Right. Nobody's like, I just want to let you know I'm scared.
Right. Exactly. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. But no,
but everyone is fucking scared, you know?
Right. But see, that I could
obviously, I'm not saying that.
You're dismissing it or saying
no, I'm
anything.
not dismissing, severe anxiety as anything but that. It's severe anxiety.
Well, when I emailed you from the festival, the reason why I emailed you was, first of all, you were the most intimately involved with me at that moment on the thing that I was having the most trouble about. But also I knew that I knew that you would be able, you weren't going to say, suck it up or, like,
cheer up.
If you're going for help, I didn't know, but I mean, I was pretty, not desperate, but I was like, well, I can't text anybody, don't text anybody. But then when you were able to get actual advice, cause that's the thing is like when my mind, like not knowing things like when you have so much adrenaline pumping, you don't need to do Adderall.
Right.
Adderall's not your problem.
Right. Yeah.
But there is a part of me when I'm having anxiety that does want to just lie down. There is that part of me that like Susan got this book about, there's a guy who wrote these series of books like it's not just do it, but something when I stop giving a fuck is what they are. And he talks about this one thing of like, when you're struggling with something, just stick with it and try and do that one thing. Just, whatever that means, like agonizing about it, going over it. And I realize that's what I don't do. In other words, if I could more before the speech go, you're right, put all that other stuff aside, but bring your mind back to good evening or whatever the thing is, bringing your mind back to it, it does solve it. It eventually does solve it. Or at least it makes your mind focus. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
sometimes it doesn't work. I know. I guess
part of me goes, well, fuck, if I could do that, then I wouldn't have ADD.
Okay. I don't think I think you're right. I think it's, I'm probably not even explaining it right. But one thing I did want to say was like,
it sounds a lot like just buckle down.
Right. That's how I buckle down. Yeah. It's not that though. It's more like just do one thing. So like that, it really did help me with the taxes where I couldn't stop worrying. So I said, I'm just going to can I mechanically just go through this? Yes, Andy, in fact, you can. Right. And then your mind starts to relax.
No, I think, yeah.
I think I pitched it the wrong way.
Well, and I think all of it is kind of what I was talking about earlier, which is like developing your toolbox.
Yes.
It's like, what are the things I can say to myself that help? Let me notice what those are. When I do stumble on one of those things, remember that thing. I know for Allison, a lot of it, when she was having panic attacks, it was like connecting with her physical surroundings.
Yeah.
That was a big
sense.
thing. Notice your breaths, notice the wind, notice,
The breathing is always a major thing.
It is a major
It's like
thing.
the first thing you can, even when everything else is
because it brings
going.
you back to the physical instead of the emotional and mental, That's part of what seems to happen in a panic attack for people is just this total loss of control and total loss of a sense of being safe in your surroundings.
I'm trying to see how the being safe in your surroundings does also in a way connect to the way I get when I get into these Twitter things is like, I actually feel as if the whole definition of myself hangs in the balance.
Right.
And that's sometimes what panic attacks can feel like when so many different things start attacking me. Like, what if this show goes, I can't do this show. And then what if you can't pay your bill? And then what if this? And what if that? To the point of, and what if I can't walk 2 feet? So part of it is knowing that is like when I get into these Twitter things, I really do have to say that to myself at some point, Andy, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. This is an unreal fear that you have.
Right.
Which is the newspapers swirling.
Right.
And it's
Kindler does it again.
Kindler, right. And it's like, and it all relies on me if I can't let that idea go that I have to have acceptance from other people. And when I can let that go, I see that that's the thing that's catching me is that I'm in some kind of turmoil. And if I just breathed more, like I probably wouldn't have reacted to a lot of the things on that thread because I wouldn't have seen people saying, what are you saying? You're a creationist?
Right.
So so much of it is actually things you can control in your environment that can actually help you. And I know that doesn't sometimes help when people are severely depressed.
Right.
But and then sometimes I feel like the day before that speech where I felt like, not that I was going to go crazy, but I was going to just keep saying, have you finished it? Have you finished it? Have you finished? But in general, there's some things that you can do. And that's good to know.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that, I mean, that's what that, you know, the valuable part of what I can take from the buckle down guy is that.
Yeah. I think it was more like just do one thing instead of like going and do a billion things. Like,
right.
But yeah, no, you're right. Because I kind of pitched like this guy says, get the fuck going. And he wrote a book called What the Fuck. Does that book sound familiar though? When I Stopped Giving a Fuck or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. It kind of rings a bell, but it's, you know, I think that, you know, that sort of productive approach where it's like, you know, if I do this one thing, that core problem is getting smaller no matter what.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
and then also like, it's like this, it's the same thing with the speech. It's like, I have to deal with the speech on two levels. The one level is what happened and what's happening and what happened. The other thing is, what can I learn in the future from every moment?
Right.
You know? And so it's like when we would have like, when I would be in the thing of like, oh, are you, whatever, like, are you mad at whatever I was going through my mind? Do you want to do the Hollywood's top 40 list or whatever the thing is? All those things that you're going through where 99, well, I could say even 100% is all about getting my feelings into it and hurt or whatever.
Right.
And so once you can clear that, because part of me accepting that life the way it is that I was expected to be perfect. So when I see any evidence of anybody getting like grumpy or anything, I think they're less than perfect all of a sudden. And then do I have to start? And since I can let all of that go and realize everybody's got their thing. Everyone's going through their own thing I'm not saying I would hook up with Hitler.
Right.
But you realize that 99.9% of it has nothing to do with how good I mean, if the speech was terrible every year, at some point I go, okay, well, you have to give it up. But it's not just about how good the speech is. It's about how you're experiencing it and how you're moving forward. And that's the thing I think when I was younger, I didn't do was like, I would get so mad at people and get so hurt. I really couldn't look at it any other way.
Right.
You know, I couldn't get out of the struggle with it. And sometimes you've been on shows where the personalities are so horrible, you have to walk away. I mean, I'm not saying you personally, but I've heard a lot of writers say, you know, they can't take the situation.
Sure.
So it's not always like your own good humor can push you through if you're working with like a crazy person.
Well, no, it isn't. But you know, everyone has a different set of priorities for why they're on that show too.
Yeah.
Some people will suck it up because they need the money or they want the money, you know, and some people won't take any of it because their egos won't allow them to be wrong. And that's, you know, them to be told they're wrong rather. And then there's, you know, I'm somewhere in between, I guess, where there's only so much honky bullshit I can suffer and still consider myself happy.
Right. But in general, it's so interesting because, you know, the concept of judo or the concept of a lot of martial arts are like you let the person's energy in a fight, you let the person use their own energy kind of and spin them away from you. That is also can be very, very useful in business situations and in difficult situations.
Well, I mean, it's a perfect case in point in terms of this, you know, because I know you. Right. I know you very well now, as well as probably anybody except for your wife, you know?
Yeah.
So I've now been through this speech with you 3 times. And each time I've figured out, on my end, how can I make it so that we aren't going to have these friction points a little more. And I don't mind doing it that way because it doesn't hinder my approach to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, okay, I discovered it's not productive for us to literally sit and try to write jokes together.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But that doesn't mean that us being together can't be productive.
Right. I see. Yeah.
You know? So I found other ways for us to be together and have it be productive, but then I go off and write the jokes that are the result of that conversation. Right. As opposed to forcing you into that process.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and the same way, like when you
which isn't to say and then you go off and write your jokes too, whatever you came, and then I can look at those jokes later, but I'm not looking at them while they're coming out of your mouth and you're having, 9 kinds of angina because of the look on my face that you're misinterpreting,
Angina. That's why I say like OCD. It wouldn't.
And all of this makes, I just want to qualify that it's like all of this sort of sounds patronizing coming from you.
Oh, I don't think it does.
I'm controlling you,
No,
like I'm manipulating you. And that's not at all.
No, that's not what you're doing. Yeah.
I'm just trying to say that I have no problem trying to meet you where you are.
And that's the thing too, is like what I learned is like it's very weird to actually have the feeling that there's no division between the joke that was written for you and you.
Yeah.
There's no difference. It's like, so there's a hesitation. There's a like, what I'm trying to deal with is when my warning flags go up, they don't have to go up so high. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, if you are expressing, like you've expressed, hey, just like trust the joke.
Right.
Trust the joke. If I take that personally, like you're saying, you don't want to deal with my jokes or something, but obviously you're not saying that. And I didn't even think you were saying that.
Right.
I was just feeling bad that I wasn't getting them. I wasn't nailing them in the previous speeches. So I just felt bad. But now I realize, okay, I saw how I actually 8 or 9 or 10 of these jokes I can take right to the clubs, which I didn't like. People laughed at the Roseanne Dice thing. They laughed at the Dunham thing.
Yeah.
And whereas other things, and the more I can do that, the more I can nail these jokes down and start working them, then it really is more of a performance of this stuff that I kind of know.
Right.
So to me, it's very exciting. Of course, the way show business works is that they will probably call tomorrow and cancel everything, right? Like just when I think I'm running like a hot tuned car.
Well, I mean, I think, the real thing is to like, ultimately, the speech kind of means nothing too.
Yes. No, none of,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And none of it means anything, and it all means everything in a way.
Exactly. Yeah. So on that level, it's like all of this is good. Even if that happened.
Yes.
It wouldn't be a catastrophe because you're like, you still are in stand up and you still have the skill set and you still are growing as that.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned that to you the first day. I was walking around, I had jet lag, I started to have these like, what I think are petty thoughts that I don't allow myself to have because I think they're wrong, but suppressing them has not worked all these years. Right. So I'm kind of walking around going, this festival's not for me. These people don't know who I am anymore. Nobody knows my name. Did I talk about this?
No.
Oh, nobody knows who I am. And once I was able to get that feeling of frustration out, that's what was bothering me and that I'm a human being, or maybe I had jet lag. Then when I was able to connect that, oh, now I'm doing stand up again. It's not something you're convincing yourself that you love. It's either you love the things that you're doing or you don't love the things that you're doing. I mean, I can't speak for everybody in every job, but in general, it's the getting worried about because the truth is the fact that someone is more well known than me in this life is literally irrelevant, or that I'm more well known than somebody. It's nice when it happens, but it literally is irrelevant when you think if that's the thing that's going to make you happy or sad.
Right.
Like I have to be known as a very popular character actor or my life would have been a failure, as opposed to I wanted to do things that I enjoyed and obviously hope people enjoy it too.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it really completely, I have plenty of those petty thoughts and I express them in my head, but I always like shut myself down too. Because for me, it's all, is this a fucking high school thought?
How do you mean?
What I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Am I popular? Am I,
okay. Yeah.
Do they like me? Was I invited to this? Blah, and they're all fucking high school popularity thoughts to me. And I don't want to live in that space. And so I take myself out of it almost manually.
Well, that's pretty great because
because it's really so easy for me to go, if you wanted those things, you would not be living the life you lead.
Yes.
and you are pretty fucking happy with the life you lead. You know, there are flaws. I'd like to get paid more for the shit I do. Do I want to be more famous? Only a little.
Well, you want to be,
I have this, I desperately crave the respect of my peers, but I don't, I'm not career ambitious. You know, I'm creatively ambitious.
Right.
And those are all my own personal goals.
Yes.
They don't relate to showbiz success. You know, I've taken myself off more than one path to those things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Had I stayed in sitcoms and like, you know,
bared down
and started creating
well, that means you would have wanted your economic health would have been your main
absolutely
concern.
Right.
And I think that any life that you have where you make those decisions, like, to me, when I've been really broke and I've had like felt like I could be, well, everyone's 4 paychecks for being homeless or whatever, but to me, I had anxiety about everything equally. And so to me, it's like the argument that, oh yeah, you should be worried because you could starve is not realistic for someone with OCD, because you could starve and you would react to it. But an OCD person wants to put themselves in this, they think worrying about starvation
right.
is somehow going to steer it off. Right. So once you can start to settle these things, like, I know I don't want, if I was the richest person on the planet, I know that wouldn't make me happy. I was like, you can see through all these things. So what will make you happy? I think the age helps with that with me, is like, I really do feel it's simpler than it used to be. It's simpler because a lot of the things that we're chasing around were like family issues, things in my mind, all of this stuff that would be, am I loved? All these things were all variations of, am I loved enough? Do I love myself enough?
Right.
And then it's bad because it gets involved in everything you do. That's what I realize now except that I shouldn't regret things, but I realize like so many things I didn't realize I was in the dynamic I was in.
Right.
I was just angry.
Well, I mean, yeah.
A little bit I realized it, self-aware, because comics usually are, but
it's all control. I mean, it's all just, this fear of not being in control is what it seems to be the sort of core of all of this. It's like my stomach hurts. The way I can be in control of that situation is worrying about every possibility that stems from that.
That's exactly right.
You know, and somehow that feels responsible.
Yes. Well, let me say this, because this is really crucial. When I had that thing where I felt sandbagged on that podcast and I started yelling at the guy, when I think about that incident, I keep coming back to have more empathy for myself, in the sense that it's okay that happened.
Right.
And the old me a little bit of me would be still like trying to justify the behavior. Like trying to justify my own behavior.
Right.
And that creates this fucking impossible, this is what my parents and whatever their parents did. This creates an impossible person. Nobody's like this person.
Right.
And if you're really saying, Andy, that time that you were on Josh Stepp's program and yelled, that does make you a worse person. And people saw it, and you're right. You're the only way you can recover is to never do that or hide that. The truth is, this happened. Nothing I can do can stop it from happening. But the idea of
the responsible thing to do is not to berate yourself. It's to go,
yes,
I know what to watch for next time, and
exactly.
not do that again.
But I never realized how the berating myself, if you can't stop berating yourself, you can't stop to heal sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Because it bounces back and forth.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get mad at yourself to a certain point,
and then then
you're going to go, now I'm mad at them for making myself mad at myself.
Yes.
And you're going to keep playing that tennis game.
I played that for many years, and it's kind of a health. It's like when you really believe that if you can't control, you won't survive. That's the thing.
Right.
It's like, I have to control this because I can't let it spin out in any way.
Right.
So I'm completely cured.
Nice. That sounds 100%. Like a perfect cue for a break.
Let's take a break.
We'll come back for a very healthy second hour.
And what are we doing? What are we doing in the break?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Let's throw in a song.
Okay.
Here's a song.
That one? Good idea.
Yeah.
It'll only end in tears, so
back. That was Alison McLeod. She's my wife. Check out her music at Alison McLeod, ALLISONMACLEOD.bandcamp.com.
Oh. Now, a lot of people ask, what do we do in the breaks? We had some souvlaki.
It was, yeah.
Is souvlaki, you know the thing that, why do you have one
Greek
of the...
week.
What's that?
It's Greek week here at Thought Spiral.
Does any Greek person have in their home a big, large, rotating spit?
I bet someone does.
That's ridiculous, though.
In their Greek man cave.
How long can you keep it on the rotating spit? All day?
Up to a year.
I don't know why that never... Does that ever appeal to you?
Yeah, I like gyros.
I don't know why, but wouldn't you rather have rare roast beef? I don't know. I haven't had I like a chicken kebab, baby.
I like a chicken kebab.
Kebab. Wait a second.
Come on down to Mangala's. Chicken kebabs.
Did Gregory Peck, was that his most mannered role, would you say?
I don't know. I think, Scout, don't you think he deserves a defense do you think he raped that woman?
Who are you asking?
That was To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh. He was good in that one. That was good.
Oh, yeah. He's good. But none of this is to say Gregory Peck is bad.
No, we don't say Gregory Peck is bad, but
we're to say Gregory Peck is bad.
No. But neither one of us are sold on Cary Grant, I think.
I'm sold on Cary Grant on the whole, but I do not like him in the Madcap. I do not like him in the Madcap comedies.
Who's the dancing guy? Gene Kelly. We sold on Gene Kelly?
I just watched American in Paris.
And he was better. He was good?
Week. I've been watching a lot of sort of...
Is it Criterion thing?
Adjunct movies to stuff we've been watching, kind of. And he was good in it. It was kind of almost exactly the same movie as Top Hat, which I had watched too with the Stare and Ginger Rogers. But he's okay. I mean, he's not a good actor. He's a good presence. He's a great fucking dancer.
Yeah.
He's an okay singer, He definitely has charisma, but I don't feel like he's a good actor, really.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Maybe they did think about it. He's more like
But it was weird because in American in Paris, he plays this painter. But, and he does all these dance numbers where people gather around to watch him dance, but no one goes, have you ever thought of being a dancer?
Is he playing who's he playing?
He's playing a painter.
Like a famous painter or just
an American painter trying to make it.
What's his stuff like? Is it like,
it's a lot of, Parisian street scenes.
Oh no. And does he have an affair?
Why, yes.
And is it with Ginger Kelly? Greg Kelly?
Yes,
is it with Ginger Rogers? No. Is it with, who is it with?
Leslie Caron was the woman, but it was like her first movie. She couldn't act either.
Now, I don't remember her from it. No, so I go, like I'm a big Leslie Caron. I know it's spelled Caron.
Yes, it is.
But that only indicates my ability to rehash.
I think her most famous movie besides that was Gigi.
Okay, I didn't see Gigi. Was Gigi about someone named, Gigi? Bobby, get Gigi. Is Gigi? I bet you never saw Gigi. He didn't see it, right?
No.
No. Why would they make a movie named Gigi? Alfie, I can see.
The person who I did like in it a lot is Oscar Levant. Oh,
I want to see him more.
He's great in it.
He used to go on Carson and things.
Yeah, and I only kind of knew him as talk show guest of the 60s and 70s and pianist, I guess, but he was great in this movie.
Alfie I liked.
Yeah.
What's it all about? I also like Georgie Girl. It was a good movie. I think I could drill my head.
This train of thought has left the rails.
If it was, I think the problem is it's not of thought, the train.
That's right. Do you want to do some questions?
I'd like to hear from the viewers and what they're thinking about.
I prefer to hear from the listeners.
So you're rejecting my idea of taping us?
Yes, I am.
And then just releasing that separately.
Yes, completely against it. Seth Dick III says, "Are you comfortable?"
I make a nice living.
There you go. That's exactly the answer he wanted. Chaotic Neutral says, hey guys, a few shows back you mentioned how much you hated TD Ameritrade commercials. If Andy's worried about his financial picture, he shouldn't watch Fox News. He might get tempted to call up J.G. Wentworth and get a quote on his Raymond residuals.
Is that J.G. Wentworth and Associates?
I get residuals and I need cash now.
Is that how the song goes?
Call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now.
I thought he was going to offer up his services as a financial advisor.
I had 5 lines and I need cash now. Television Savalas says, dudes, I remember seeing a Frankenstein movie with Gregory Peck as the doctor. The best scene was where he tried to explain a simple question to the monster. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that. Gregory Peck was in a movie like that. Do
you want lunch?
Yeah.
Do you want lunch? Lunch. Do you want lunch? Yes, lunch. We'll have 2 club sandwiches.
I can't believe you're offering up we'll have 2 club sandwiches as the closing line. Because he want one for you and one for the monster.
Well, yeah.
There haven't been any successful Frankenstein monsters yet, to your knowledge. And why would you want a slower, lumbering version of what's the point? What was his idea, Dr. Frankenstein?
To create life, to be God.
Yeah, but there's born every 4 seconds. What is he trying to? He wanted to control it? He wanted to see. Didn't he have something where the first scene, my whole life, I've wanted to take a dead body and make it into a zombie type thing. And finally, I have, but Igor, come quick. I can't because I walk with a limp. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. This is the worst moment of my life. I don't understand the plot of Frankenstein.
Okay.
I never read the book.
Okay.
But Frankenstein, was it a specific dead guy he wanted to bring? No, he's made of different parts, right?
Yeah.
But there aren't vampires though. That's made up.
Yes.
But the monster's real. So of the 3 biggies, the Wolfman, mostly real, mostly false, what would you say?
I'm going to go mostly false.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Totally real.
You know, my favorite character is Godzilla. Godzilla.
Come here, Godzilla. Come here, my little Godzilla. Look at you.
Godzilla.
What a put him on this Godzilla.
Hey, look at me. We trampled Nagasaki last week.
Yeah, little Godzilla, you.
Oh, boy, that was fun.
Justin Mantel, can I get a little more Gregory Peck does Dennis Miller, please?
I don't remember that.
No,
last
you
week.
Can't, because I've got a life to lead, Cha-Cha.
It's Miller on the 6s.
It's Miller on the 6s. There's quite a stack up here on the 405. It's worse than when Green Acres met... I don't know. I haven't seen a stack up like this since Mr. Haney.
Why does it have to be a cross between Green Acres?
I don't know, because that's where I was. It's improv. I was just ending myself into a corner. Heath says, still not totally up to speed on how far behind you are when you record, but if this comes out on the 19th, it'll be my 36th birthday.
Well,
I was hoping you guys could do a Mr. Kindler, Mr. Weinstein riff that includes young Master Heath so that I can make friends jealous.
Mr. Weinstein. Is it Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Weinstein, come into the office immediately, please.
Yes, Mr. Kindler.
Yes, it's come to my attention.
I'm quite busy right now. I'm making a cake for my friend Heath.
Well, wanted you to go out and buy a Heath bar.
Well, I'm crumbling it over the top.
Well,
we're on the same page.
Mr. Weinstein, I'm so excited about our impending cameo gig.
Yes.
That's right. You two could hire.
We could have made $40 for this, Mr. Kindler.
You can hire. Do you want Josh Elvis Weinstein to do his Gregory Peck as a Nazi? That also comes.
By the way, I did come through on that wedding video that someone asked me to do for them.
Oh, what was it?
Never mind. The listeners know.
The listeners?
Yeah. You're not. The one thing you're not is a listener.
Listeners, they always say listeners like you. They don't always say that.
No. Listeners like me. You, not so much.
This is like Nichols and May if they were both hit over the head with a hammer. That's funny if it wasn't us involved.
Mark Thompson says, what would the theme song to Andy's hit sitcom sound like?
He's a 24-hour problem to solve. Andy Kindler's back in town.
Last week on Andy Kindler's. Hey, wait, let me see this. I don't remember.
Hey, Sassen, do you know where I put my keys?
Previously on Andy Kindler. Wait, tell me.
Wait, what were we talking about? I had to go to the podcast. I forgot my thing. He's 24/7. He's a Jew and more. Andy Kindler's back in store. Andy Kindler.
Seth Dobson says, Josh, Greg Kinnear was on Marin recently, and Mark talked about guest hosting later, right after Greg left the show. Were you still around then?
Oh, that's a good that's a question that you probably know the answer to.
Love the conversation with Josh Mankiewicz, by the way.
Yes.
No, I was not. I saw the writing on the wall when Greg started doing movies. And that's when I left the show, because we had gotten to this point where we had started to like bank shows in advance for weeks he was going to be away shooting.
For a topical show.
Yeah, for a topical show. It's no fun.
So what happened when he didn't ultimately have a film career? Did he want to come back? What has he been in? 3 movies? Is he in 1 million movies?
He's in a lot of movies.
He has?
Yeah.
And I like to think of him as struggling. I don't know
He's
why.
in a movie right now.
But
his last few have been like those Christian sort of releases.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like do huge box office, but nobody like Medea, like Christian Medea movies almost. They do this massive box office, and yet they're not on your radar.
I didn't even know there was a market for that. I mean, I knew there was a market for like people who watch the Bible on TNT.
Yeah, no, there's a big one because they can then market through church groups.
Why don't we go that route?
I think that question is self-evident.
It's obvious.
Yeah,
obvious. We could never pull it off.
King of the Road says, how do rich people choose who to eat next in the nuclear bomb shelter? Do they compare bank statements? Sadly, these thoughts comfort me when facing doom.
I'm not even thinking about eating someone else in the shelter. It's the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, if it comes to that, what happens when you eat? You've been on these expeditions, right?
Yeah.
What happens when you finally go, that's it, I'm going to eat one of these people? How does it work?
Well, you take the Donner Party went for their guides.
Is that what they did?
Yeah.
Oh, because
it was their fault.
Their guides took them into the wrong place?
Well, their guides took them into the Donner Pass where it snowed a lot.
And I'd like to, and then I said, hey guides, come over here. We're talking about you.
I don't know if it was they died first because the other people were eating the real food and the guides were holding back. I'm not exactly sure. But.
And how do you prepare a person when you eat them? You can't eat them
How
cold.
do I do it? I smoke, but that's me.
I just don't understand.
I use the pellet grill.
I don't understand the cannibalism. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. It's just
it doesn't make sense to you, really?
You eat of your own kind?
Yeah, I'm not.
You don't eat yourself, I guess, so that's good.
Exactly.
This hand is as tough as mine. I know it's like the back of my hand that I tried to eat once. I don't know what's happening to me, but if I don't make it, tell my wife she was right. I'm annoying.
Generally, though, the cannibalism isn't a first thought theater sort of thing.
Oh, but there are certain cannibal tribes, right?
Well, on Gilligan's Island there is. I don't know how many. I mean, there were
tribes.
Some. There were cannibal tribes,
but not the way it was in the Superman episode.
It's kind of like quicksand. It's like quicksand. Yeah. It's like, it's out there.
It's only happened once, and it happened. The guy disappeared into the quicksand before he could eat his whole body.
Thanks for bringing that all together.
Thank you. Into a gluey mess.
Otherwise Blameless says, good evening, gentlemen. Just wanted to say that I enjoyed your special guest episode and that you have my permission to do more of the same. Also, I thought I would mention that I am busy next week, but do keep me in mind for the future.
Who is he?
It's Otherwise Blameless.
Oh, please have him send, ask him if he's famous.
Right.
We have to have really famous people.
Send us your real.
Your real.
And
or
your special skills.
I came up with this joke. Send us your real or send us your fake.
Okay. What was the joke?
No, that's it.
Oh.
It's the way you say it.
Oh, okay.
Ask me what the secret of a good comedian is. Timing.
What's the secret of
timing.
What's the secret of a good comedian?
Timing.
No, let me finish.
Okay.
What's the secret of a good comedian?
Timing.
Oh.
Say it so many times it gets funny again.
Michael O'Connor says, have you ever watched the animated series Archer, created by Adam Reed? Funny series. P.S. Loved your conversation with Josh Mankiewicz.
I have watched some of them. I love John Benjamin, but I haven't gotten enough time to get into it.
Yeah, I'm not into it. I've watched several. Thought that there was funny jokes throughout.
Right.
Don't love it, but I definitely thought it's, always has funny jokes. And I guess they're like this new season. They're in space now, so I think that's kind of funny that they did that.
Archer in space.
But there was a lot of sameness to it over the years when I checked in.
Yeah.
But again, funny jokes.
Yeah. Who's the woman? There's a woman in there. I think it's Aisha Taylor.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Michelle Weiscarver.
Michelle, I love you. Michelle, you're the wisest carver in Carvertown.
Gentlemen, loved the talk with Josh Mankiewicz. May I suggest his younger brother, Ben Mankiewicz, as a future guest, should you decide to have more guests. Listening to all three of you discuss classic film would be delightful.
I'm all for it, but it might be a little, what do you think? I
don't think we'll double dip in the Mankiewicz pool twice right off the bat.
But he is,
I've met Ben.
Oh,
but I don't know Ben.
But a lot of ladies like him. He's a handsome devil.
Yeah.
If you're a lady who likes the movies,
I think you would end up seeing just how bad we are talking about classic movies
because he knows a lot of things.
Yeah.
But you could tell me some of your theories.
I could. We'll see if we can get him to say blowhardy during the hour.
I love blowhardy.
Give him $100 if he does.
Blowhardy. The blowhardy boys.
Yes. Dan March says, given that the comedy scene used to be even harder for women in decades past, where would you each be in life now if you'd been born female?
It is something that I think about, but I don't get more than a minute or two into it because I just, I think about what would my mind doesn't stick with it, but I don't know. It's impossible to think of.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I'm a woman. But now that there's different gender fluidity, I think if I was a woman, I would do a lot of, comedy about being a lady.
Yeah.
I'd be the lady. I call myself the lady comic.
Am I right? People like me? I don't know. I don't know if I'd be a comic if I was a girl because I think, I feel like my relationship with my mother would have been totally different. And I feel like definitely part of why I'm a comic is because of my relationship with my mother and trying to get her to laugh constantly. And if I had that mother-daughter hostility going, that just seems so ingrained in mothers and daughters, I might not have been so anxious to make her laugh, and I might not have gotten my approval that way.
Well, part of me says that I would be uncomfortable getting people attracted to me as a woman, but I don't want to have that pressure. And would I be attracted? But I'm not attractive as a guy. Who am I kidding? It's not like, I'm thinking of it as a woman. I'd be so awkward. I'm awkward now.
Yeah. But you're thinking of yourself as you in a wig.
Yeah. Like, hi. Oh, Josh, I have a date with Edward. So, is that what he's asking? If we were born like a classic character in a movie, like Guys and Dolls?
Right. Like Some Like It Hot.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
You knew I meant to say that, right?
Yeah, I was trying to casually upgrade your reference.
Oh, Josh. No, guys, I can't get any. Guys don't like my voice. They don't think it's sexy.
Greg Kelly says, can I be a guest on your show? I am consistent, don't complain, provide good James Mason prompts, and will keep still during the Mr. Weinstein bits. I am also a good hang during the break. I'm heard briefly in Test Show 7 and think we can recapture the magic.
What happened in Test Show 7?
Yeah, I remember Test Show 7, Andy.
Well, here's the thing. I think that we're going to have a big contest, and the winner gets to be interviewed on the show, and it's the worst contest in the history of the world. Because why would that be a good prize?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe. We'll have to say maybe on Greg Kelly, because we have other people.
Yeah. Let's just say you won't be on the show soon, Greg Kelly.
Oh, well, I don't think you have to go that far. I mean, that's just cruel.
Jordy says, you guys and Josh Mankiewicz were great. Can we expect a crossover episode of Dateline where Andy rides along with Josh M. and plays bad cop during the interviews? He plays bad listener.
Well,
they do good listener, bad listener.
Good listener. Here's what I would like to, there's a part of me that wants to be in a Dateline from an acting perspective, but I don't want it to then be real.
Right.
Like I want to have either have murdered a group of people or been.
You're thinking Law and Order is what you want to be on.
No. In Dateline, I think it would be very good for my career if I was involved in some kind of a thing and had to be in a confession thing. I could just. Part of me wants to be either accused or accuse someone of something and play it out.
No doubt you've accused people of plenty of things.
Like, what have I done?
I don't know. You've
yelled at them.
Let's go to Twitter.
That's true. But that wouldn't be a whole Dateline.
You're a bigot! Bah!
You know, a lot of times Andy was nice, but there were some times that he was not nice.
You're a bigot! Bah!
And it got to the point, for example, once during an interview, he started to like yell and it was very unusual.
You're a bigot! Bah!
Eventually, things did not go well for Andy. After Elvis Weinstein kicked him off of the podcast, Andy stumbled around. Andy shambled around for a couple of years doing this podcast gig here, doing that sketch show there. He died at the age of 69, and his last words were, I don't even have a good bit about the number 69. Will you be sad? Let me tell you something right now.
Well, okay.
We're getting to be, I mean, we are the closest of friends. So you are going to have to see me die. If everything goes okay.
Yeah.
You're going to see me die. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're significant.
I promise to see you on your deathbed.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Oh, you won't, well, I don't want you there.
I won't necessarily be there at the moment.
I want your hand to be the last hand.
I don't think
I want you to be tell my wife. I want you to go downstairs and tell Susan. He looked.
I put his hand in warm water.
Oh God. But this is true. I'm going to get old. I'm going to be in the thing. You're going to have to deal with it. You have to deal with it every day.
I've put lots of people in the grave.
Not them. Not me. I'm going to literally, you can pull.
Some are easier than others.
Well, you can take my life away from me when you pull it out of my, dead fingers. That's a good image of holding on to life. Okay. I'm over it.
Tweet Bahara?
Tweet, twiddly diddly deet deet. You tweet in the schoolyard all day long, hopping and a bopping and a tweeting that song. All the little super soup slap, etc. and so on. That's the bit.
Tweet Bahara.
Tweet Bahara. Boom, boom, boom. Tweet Bahara. Boom. Tweet Bahara. Tweet Bahara today. Hey, so call us up on Cameo and we will do to the tune of.
Yes to more guests. You guys shine even brighter with that third person to play with. Great show.
Thank you, Tweet.
Next, Andy's brother and Josh's brother have Ben Mankiewicz on as a guest. Bizarro Thought Spiral.
Well, I'm one Obama because Mark Maron had Obama, so I've been emailing Obama. I don't know if he's getting it, but
Mad City Architect says, I wonder what it would have been like if Dr. Mengele played opposite Patty Duke as a young Helen Keller in The Miracle Worker.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Opposite.
I'm Dr. Joseph Mengele. I said, I'm Dr. Joseph Mengele. 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 Dr. Joseph Mengele.
stupid. It's so stupid. It's bad enough that people are requesting it. It's worse that we don't reject them.
I will not reject. I will always try to make something happen.
Because if it wasn't for the listeners, we wouldn't have a show.
Wow.
Come on about that.
No, it wasn't for listener questions. We wouldn't have a second hour of the show.
That is true. That's one of the problems, said the Audio Video Club.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Andy, in light of Chris Cuomo's recorded tough guy tirade, are you afraid to tell him to take his handsome pills now?
Wait a second. I haven't heard about this. What was his tough guy tirade to?
I don't know. I
got to see it though, right?
There was something involving Fredo, I think, and how he was like calling Italians Fredo is like calling the N-word.
Was it?
I only caught
maybe it was a Godfather
hand.
2. Was it a Godfather 2 thing? Because they're bringing up the Godfather 2 in Roger Stone's case?
Maybe.
Oh, I got to see it.
I'm sure you can find it.
Hey, Chris Cuomo, why don't you take your Hanson pills are wearing off? Why don't you take your anger? He is just, if he needs to realize that, Chris Cuomo needs to realize that he does not hold the key to the final truth on every topic. Because he really thinks, all right, are you ready to finally understand what's going on?
Right.
I mean, really understand it?
Strap yourself in. Here's the truth bomb.
Here's the truth bomb. And he'll always do something like this. People are upset about this. That's not what you need to be upset about. That is irrelevant. But what you need to be upset about is
Yoshi has a two-bagger. The old Dodger two-bagger.
You mean a two-parter, right? It's not a two-bagger.
It's a two-bagger.
Okay.
Like the Dodger two-bagger.
He thought,
apparently he thought he was just getting one bag of peanuts. Anything but. I love the triple spiral with the double the Joshes on my wedding night, in parentheses. Anyway, we all love the great Julia Sweeney, who recently joined Twitter. But do you guys think the Pat character could fly today? And how do you look at it in the context of comedy history?
I love the Pat character. Now, obviously the movie had too much of its own thing because it didn't do very well. So then people start talking about it. I don't know if I didn't dislike the movie. It was okay.
I don't think that's the question.
The character, why can't I understand simple questions?
I don't know.
I think it was a character of its time, so it'd be odd for her to come up with it now, right?
Well, I mean, I think it would be more complicated this time, but I do think the thing that argues for it being able to exist in the current climate is that he or she never declares themselves to be anything.
Right, and doesn't do really.
So the whole joke is people questioning what they're dealing with as opposed to making fun of what that person has declared themselves to be.
Right.
But it's still
a tough issue to be.
The comedy of someone's gender
appearance
being obsessed about by others probably wouldn't be as freaky fresh in today's climate.
Very good. I'm also proud of you for ascertaining what the question was.
Thank you. Luke Holly says, okay, you're backstage at a naked roast battle and one of the roasters is ill. One of you needs to go up instead. How do you decide which one of you is roasting Ron Funches naked? That's an Andy gig. I have no problem assigning.
Well, I would do, I would
write material for Andy to go roast Ron Funches naked. Hey, look at my tiny penis.
So it'd be something like it's nice to know that not all stereotypes are true, because I see that Ron, well, why would it be nice to know? Why is it, stereotypes, some stereotypes are true, but not in Ron Funch's case. He has an exceedingly small penis. And I just want to say, ha 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 to him and his small penis. Good, right?
Yeah. You passed the audition.
What happened? Why is your penis so small? Did you cut it up into Funches? It's not nonsensical humor.
No, I'm just letting you sit in that one for a bit.
You know what's amazing? Is you have a foreskin, Ron, and it still hasn't helped.
Well, like a two-skin.
Yeah. Ron, do you get the jokes that I'm making here in the roast battle? You're a black man, I'm saying, and I'm making all the jokes about the size of your penis based on the stereotype of black people having large penises.
I've never heard that one.
You have not heard that one.
Now it's all making sense.
You have not heard that one.
Now I get that.
I don't have a large penis because I'm too busy chewing everybody down to grow my penis. In or out? That last bunch.
It's in. Because you asked. Patented Phil says the TV just told me that Ron White is America's #1 comedian. Is this true? Would TV lie?
Ron White, Ron White, right?
Ron White, yes.
I don't think he is. Well, I don't think that's true. I think he's a funny comedian, but he's not a #1 comedian.
Yeah. He is the #1 of the blue collar guys. He's the tolerable blue collar comedian.
Yeah, because he talks it's like Andy Griffith, as opposed to, you need to have a sign saying you're stupid.
Larry Harold asks, ever miss a gig because of transportation problems? We covered sort of that earlier.
Kind of, and I have I have almost missed gigs in New York a lot. When I've almost missed gigs many times, especially before I got treated for OCD.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've missed a gig.
I missed one gig because my car broke down, and I was headed to the Comedy Womb in Chicago, and my car broke down in the center lane of Lakeshore Drive.
Oh no!
On a Friday night rather, at about 9:00.
After the show, or
on my way to a 10:00 show?
Oh my God! So what did you do? Did you get towed, or?
I ended up getting it towed. Well, first I had to get it out of the center lane, and that's like a highway.
Well, how do you get it out of the center lane when it just stops?
Well, first you have several people take incredible squealing stops right behind you.
And you can't get, are you supposed to get out of the car?
Well, you kind of have to. Basically, a couple of homeless guys from the park came out and helped me push it over to the side. Once enough people had squealed to a stop.
Right.
Behind me, almost hitting me.
And did you get out?
I got out, and because there was that, it slowed everything down and made everyone aware of what I was doing, and then I quickly got it over to the side and then called it.
Wow.
But it was scary as shit.
It was, and what caused it to just go?
I had an electrical problem. It was a Datsun 300Z. That was it was a Nissan, I guess, but it was many years past its prime.
Man. So you were actually scared for good reason at that point.
Yeah.
But you never probably had.
And I was 18 or something.
Right.
So I wasn't exactly equipped to handle all of life's curveballs necessarily either.
I kind of would have liked to have seen that, now knowing that nobody got hurt.
Yeah, no one got hurt.
But, I asked you though, did you get out of the car?
I got out of the car, yeah.
First thing?
Not first thing, no. But, it was it literally just died.
So just the screeching happens.
It just killed.
Yeah.
And so.
And then
so I stopped there and I start trying to restart it. As that's happening.
Screech.
So once that sort of happened and I knew that the person directly behind me had screeched to a stop, that's when I got out of the car because I felt like it was safe to do so at that point.
And that's the thing that when it happened,
I kind of started pushing it myself, and then a couple of guys started and came out.
Oh, well, because you have to have it steered, right? Well, it's a small car.
Yeah.
But God damn it, that's scary because I've always thought about that thing because you couldn't go to another lane. It just died.
It just died. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it conked out and, it literally just went from 3,000 RPM to 0.
Well,
and it did that all the way home too, more than once.
What do you mean all the way home?
I thought I got it fixed, and then on my way home from Chicago, it started doing it again.
So did you have to get rid of that car? I would hope.
Eventually, I did. Yeah.
Now,
I also remember that mechanic who fixed it in Chicago left a wrench on my hood, and when I was back on Lakeshore Drive, I went around a bend, and the wrench just flew off my car. From the momentum of me taking a big left.
Oh, you don't know where it went?
It flew into Lakeshore Drive.
Oh.
After leaving a nice,
nice gash, damage along the way.
Along across the hood, yeah.
Oh, it hurt your hood.
Sure.
Why is this? Look, it's okay if I leave a wrench, but people who are working on cars don't leave them on the hood. Thank you.
Oh, well, here's Jim Meehan has a related question to the other thing. Is there a movie character you would hate to be called as much as Chris Cuomo hates to be called Fredo? Excellent interview with Josh Mankiewicz at Show 118. If he's your first guest, Clyde and Lucky must be recurring characters like Chris Elliott.
Wait a second. What am I going to say now?
Is there a movie character you hate being called?
I don't think anybody would call me Fredo.
No. Is there a different name that you would hate as much?
She's like talking to a moron.
A little
Andy.
bit.
Andy.
Andy. Let's go step by step.
I'm trying to think of who would. Well, I wouldn't want to play the villain in Billy Jack. No, I can't think of any. Who would they call? I don't know. You have to answer first. Let's see if I can get one.
Jabba the Hutt.
No, come on. That's not playing the game.
Yes, it is.
Whoever called you Jabba the Hutt?
No one would, but I would really hate it if they did. Thus answering the question.
I don't think I ever liked it when they called me Horshack.
No?
That much, but I didn't hate it.
Right.
But
you understood it.
I understood it, but I always thought I'm handsomer than Horshack somehow. But I think that's just because when you're a Jew, you don't realize how Jewy you are.
Dana Schwartz says, I very much enjoyed TS118. Thanks for trying new things. Thought Spiral continues to be my favorite podcast, and you guys my favorite people.
Oh, that's cool.
Neither of those are warranted. And he goes on to say, what would it be like if Andy arrived late for the podcast, went to the wrong house, and Joseph Mengele answered the door?
He had to butter it up there. Hey, oh my God.
Hello?
Oh my, I'm sorry. This is the wrong house. Oh,
how do you mean?
No. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry to have disturbed you. I was supposed to go to my friend's Josh next door for the podcast.
Josh?
Your neighbor, and you probably don't know. I shouldn't even be telling you who your neighbor's name is.
My neighbor's name is Bobby.
You have a very strange accent, sir. Can I lawyer at your door for a couple more seconds to find out where you came from?
Absolutely.
Where are you from with that?
I'm from Paraguay.
So you're not a Nazi then, who's hiding out?
No.
And there's no baby Hitler that grew to adulthood here?
No, that's crazy talk. There's just my young Paraguayan boy, Bobby.
Wouldn't his name be Roberto?
Roberto. A.K.A. Bobby.
This is fantastic.
Isn't it? And finally, Kenny Loggins the third.
Kenny Loggins, I loved you as the second.
Dip, 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 dip.
Oh.
Will Josh Mankiewicz narrate the special Thought Spiral Dateline episode when Josh finally snaps and murders Andy? I don't know. Is there a conflict of interest on Dateline stories? I don't think so. No, because I just saw him cover a murder of somebody that he knew.
Really?
Yes.
Was like a friend of his?
Yeah, someone who you became friends with after interviewing him about another murder, actually.
I don't know if I've seen that. Is it a new one?
It was on last week. It was from, but it was a rerun. So.
Oh, I don't know. I have to see that.
I watched it in prep for our interview.
You prep for the interviews?
I prep for everything. I'm very prepared.
What if you were interviewing Mengele's nephew, Bobby?
Yeah.
He's ready to go. That's what I love. Yeah, what you got?
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Bring it on.
Should we call it a night?
Oh, no, you didn't do the last question.
I did. That was it.
What was it?
That was will Josh Mankiewicz narrate the special?
I would like him to do this. No, I thought he was going to be, when we have the 300 test episode,
yeah,
we have to have maybe Josh comes in and he does the whole, because people will be so interested in our backstory by then. And he does like a about the whole thing. Folks, thank you for listening. You were great this week. I just want to say, I will plug a couple of local gigs. I'll be at the Tiki Lounge in Bal Harbor. What, do I have anything coming up? Nothing.
I don't know. I'm the wrong man to ask.
How about you? Where are you going?
I always assume you have nothing. I'm not, I got nothing either.
Yeah, but you can still buy chunks.
Yeah, you should buy chunks at Apple or Amazon or Google or stream it on any of those places you stream things. Just listen to it, for God's sakes. I need love. And get a hold of us during the week here at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com. Go on to Apple, iTunes and rate us and review us well. We like that a lot.
I'm selling a new line of dress pants. I don't know if I've told you about that.
Yeah, they look like,
they don't look
dresses.
I don't know what I was hoping to happen there. They look like. I have, please sign up for my, by the way, in my, my bio, it lists with Josh Elvis. I took off my Showtime Dining Up Here, and I linked to your Twitter page. So I'm just saying there's a lot of things happening, and I hope to later this year get one of those background things.
You got one.
What is it?
You got a banner from Casanova Frankenstein.
For my own site?
Yes, it was for you to use.
Oh, I didn't use it though.
You should have.
When did he send that to me?
A couple of weeks ago.
Okay, resend it, Casanova. Is it too busy? Or do you like it?
No, it's classy.
Okay, Casanova, send it, and then I'll have Josh come over and figure out how to put it up.
Deal.
Anyway, this was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I wish I could talk like a normal person.
I kind of do too.
Yeah.
I really would.
But how would you normally end it? Why do I have fear of ending poorly? Fear of closing weak.
Andy, drive safely.
And many more. Use that as a tag. Use that as a bounce out.